And are you seriously claiming, Mr. Harrison, that this forest labyrinth is not just a local legend? The young journalist asked, smiling skeptically and adjusting his glasses. Exactly, my friend, Sam sighed, rubbing his temples. Believe me, this nightmare is so real that even now I feel as if the walls of the labyrinth are waiting for me to go back there again. The journalist nodded, taking notes, but the smirk never left his face. Sam Harrison had always believed that the town of Clayton was shrouded in a dark aura of curse. Ever since he was a child, he'd heard the scary stories children and adults told in whispers about a mysterious labyrinth hidden in the heart of a dense, impenetrable forest. Everyone who entered this labyrinth disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only shadows of memories and rumors that terrified all the locals. Sam didn't believe the stories until one fateful day when his best friend Jimmy disappeared. Fear and the intolerable weight of guilt drove Sam to leave town to escape the slow madness and ghosts that haunted him every night. For 20 agonizing years he'd been hiding from his memory, but a sudden call from the police had shattered his fragile world into shards. Jimmy's body had been found just a few steps from the entrance to that very same cursed maze. And now, as if guided by an unknown force, Sam had to go back to confront the dark past he tried so desperately and unsuccessfully to forget. Translated with dpel.com, free version. The forest greeted Sam with deafening silence and a dark, ominous cold. The air seemed viscous, as if trying to suffocate him. He waded through the dense veil of branches, feeling his heart pick up the rhythm of anxiety in his chest. "Damn you, Jimmy," Sam muttered, clinging to the branches. "I should have died here, in the heart of this nightmare." Suddenly something crunched under his feet. Sam flinched and saw a figure slipping away into the thicket. "Hey! Stop! Who are you?" he shouted, but the answer was only a quiet laugh that sounded as if it came from everywhere at once. Translated with dpel.com, free version. The farther he went, the clearer it became that he was moving in a circle. The old trees, covered with moss and cobwebs, seemed alive. Finally he stopped in front of a tall stone entrance, ancient and peeling. On top of it sat a stone demon, its maw grinning in a silent shriek. "This is it, then," Sam whispered, a chill running down his spine. "You've come, Sam," voices whispered from within, quiet and disturbing, like the rustling of dry leaves. "Who's there?" he shouted, his voice trembling with fear. The answer was silence, deep and merciless. He stepped into the darkness. The air inside was thick, musty, as if the labyrinth itself breathed in unison with his fear. The walls of stone and intertwined roots moved, as if to squeeze and stretch the passages. Suddenly he saw a figure in front of him, familiar to the point of pain. "Jimmy?" Sam's voice trailed off into a whisper. "You left me here, buddy," Jimmy said bitterly. "You ran away. And I was left here, in the darkness, alone. I couldn't help it." Sam cried out. "I was afraid. Fear is not a good friend, Sam. Now you'll know what real terror is." Jimmy disappeared, and the walls around him began to move faster, closing in. Sam ran, desperate to find a way out, but the maze was getting more and more confusing. The corridors widened and narrowed, making him feel like a pathetic pawn in a mad game. Finally he came upon an old cottage overgrown with wild grapes. "This definitely wasn't here," he muttered. He stepped inside and was horrified to see a mirror that reflected Jimmy's face, distorted with agony. "They won't let me go, Sam. And they won't let you go either." "Who are they?" "Jimmy, for God's sake, explain." But the reflection only grinned bitterly, and the glass shattered, shattering into shards. A cloaked man emerged from the darkness, his face hidden by shadows. "I am the guardian of this labyrinth," his voice was as cold and indifferent as ice. Whoever enters this labyrinth will never leave it again. Let me go. It's not my fault. Sam shouted, feeling the despair gripping his heart. Guilty or not, it didn't matter anymore. The maze is hungry, and you are its new food. The figure disappeared, and the walls began to shrink, robbing him of air. The journalist slowly slammed the notebook shut, trying to calm the trembling in his fingers. Sam's story had shaken him deeply. It was too vivid, too real to be mere fiction. Suddenly, he felt the room grow unnaturally quiet. Looking up, he was surprised to see that the chair across from him was empty. Sam had vanished without a trace, as if he had vanished into thin air. The journalist stirred and reached for his phone, feeling his heart begin to race. The screen flashed and a message from an unknown number popped up. Now you know. Welcome to the maze. A chill ran down his back, making him look around sharply. The walls of the room began to change slowly and inevitably, becoming covered in a thick weave of ancient roots and stone slabs covered in moss. He stood up stunned, trying to comprehend what was happening, but there was no way out, only the endless corridors of the labyrinth, swallowing him into its dark depths.